This is the new BMW XM, and it's a little bit like a Mercedes-AMG GT63 SE Performance in the way like that car is a bespoke vehicle for AMG. This is a bespoke vehicle for BMW's M division. You won't be able to get it as a normal BMW. Also, like the Mercedes-AMG, it's a plug-in hybrid. Now in this video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about this car. I'm going to talk you around the exterior, the interior, take it for a drive, and I'm going to launch it because this is supposed to be the most powerful BMW M car ever. And I'm Matt Watson, and you're watching Car Wow. Buy, sell, Car Wow. Let's start off this video by talking about the design of the XM because it's a bit controversial. Now from the rear, it's quite similar to the iX electric car, though you have exhaust pipes. Oh yeah, we've got a V8 in this car, and the exhaust pipes are real, as I'll illustrate now using the Car Wow stick of truth. Look. Oh, very pleasing. Never seen them vertical before like that on a BMW. Not sure how I feel about that. I like this though. Look, you've got the BMW roundel up there and up there, just like on the original M1 supercar from the 1970s. Haven't seen this before though. The location of this badge where it says XM. Normally you'd expect the model designation being there. Odd. Wait a minute, that's fake. That diffuser. What? Quite a bit of gold going on as well. You notice that down the side as well. Look, round the windows. And do you know, when you stand back and look at this car, it sort of reminds me of a Nike basketball boot from the 1980s. Can you see that? Or is it just me? Wheel sizes start at 21 inches. These are the upgraded 23s with a two-tone effect. And here's something else I've not seen before. Rather than the BMW roundel on the wheel, they've spelt it out. BMW, or V if you're German. No one calls it a BMW unless you're German. Anyway, moving down the side, we have some slightly different door handles. Look, this little bit just spills over the edge. Not seen that before. And where this is a top-of-the-range car, obviously, you have soft close on the door. Classic BMW trait, fistable door mirrors, and these are very fistable. We've got the XM designation there, and plug-in hybrid, charging port just underneath it. Moving to the front, massive grille, and the slats are horizontal and like vertical on the other BMW M cars. In fact, you know what? This is less beaver tooth than the M3 and the other BMW M cars, isn't it? Are BMW going back to a bit more traditional kidney style grille? This slat here in the bonnet is just like on the M3 though. And look at this, air vents here, which allow you to see the front wheels through. That looks pretty cool. What do you think of the design? When I first saw pictures of this, I was like, it's horrible, but it's grown on me. I actually quite like it. BMW design is a little bit like olives, you know, when you first try them, you're like, oh no, it's not for me. But then you slowly get used to them and then like them. Same could be said for cigarettes. Oh, do you hear that noise? That was a 6-cylinder engine. Look, over there, there's an M2. Now, there's a video review coming of that car soon. So make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon to turn your notifications on. That way you won't miss when I upload that review. But let's stay with the XM for now and this paint colour. Yeah, there's quite a lot going on here. Look at this, the car's over there. We're at a very popular filming spot here in Phoenix to do this car with some other journalists as well. Hello, yeah, don't mind us. I wonder what colour of M2 I should go for, that one or the red one. Anyway, speaking about the red, there is a problem with this red. It seems to show up stone chips. Look at this car, it's so stone chipped. That is terrible. No, you don't want that on your expensive car. You need to get this PPF'd because it's quite a lot of money. Starting price, £148,000. BMW says the interior of the XM is the ultimate blend of sportiness and luxury. Yeah. Let's investigate that though. So the dash design is very similar to the iX. Got lots of leather, so it does feel quite expensive. And build quality is solid. Plus you've got this massive widescreen that's curved with loads of information. The actual infotainment system itself can be a bit confusing, but you can just plug in your phone and use Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, and it's wireless as well. Then you've got the seats, they are nice and comfy, and you've got this lovely headlining. It's like 3D prismatic effect, plus loads of ambient lighting as standard, and a banging sound system as well. It does feel luxurious. Does it feel about £150,000 luxurious? I don't think it feels as expensive inside as an Aston Martin DBX. If you want to see my full in-depth video review of that car, click on the pop-out banner up there or follow the link in the description below. Let's move on to the sportiness. So I am feeling the sportiness. So on these sporty seats here, which are like wing-backed, you've got the XM logo there, which does illuminate. Then there's all the M trinkets, such as an M steering wheel with carbon fibre shift paddles. We've got the M tricolor thingy going on the seat belts, around the M gear selector. You've also got M logos there on the kick plates, aluminium pedals, there's M specific dials, carbon fibre here on the dash. It does feel sporty, but what about practicality? Well, under here, look, we've got cup holders. They are large and they're heated and cooled. Plus, we've got wireless charging for your mobile phone. There's more storage under here and a USB-C port. Huge door bins. And I think there's room for 2 in the front hole and 2 more in the rear hole. Glove box, yeah, decent enough size and lined with felt to stop things rattling about. And secret cubby down here, decent size and also lined with felt. Practicality is good, but what about in the back seats? It's really comfortable here. The seat bases are really soft and deep and the backrests are reclined. I love the fact that the leather just wraps around. Oh, it's gorgeous. And you can make it seem even more gorgeous if you go for the bright blue interior. And space galore, loads of knee room, lots of headroom. You can really stretch out. And while there is a bit of a hump in the floor, the footwells are so huge and the car itself is so wide, you can easily carry 3 people in the back of this car on long distances in absolute comfort. And if you need to fit a child seat, that's easy as well. You just peel back the meaty flap and there's easy access to the hole. Practicality continues with huge rear door bins, though the front hole is slightly tighter, so you can only fit 1 in there, but the rear is bigger, so you can actually do 3 in the rear, which is awesome. You've got airplane style pockets on the seat backs, and look, got a little thing there where you can actually hang a coat hanger or fit a mount for your iPad. Then you've got your USB charging port there. 2 more down here, 12-volt socket down there. Dual zone climate control here for the rear. And if you fold this down, you have your armrest and cup holders. Shame they're exposed because when you haven't got things in there, you just end up putting your wrist in it. But you do have through loading if you need to carry long items. Speaking of which, let's check out the boot. The load capacity on the XM is 527 litres. FYI, that's about 15% less than on a Lamborghini Urus. Now, if you want to see my full in-depth video review of the Lamborghini Urus, click on the pop-out banner up there for the link in the description below. Now, you probably noticed there that it is quite a step up to get in and out of the car. So if you've got an old Labrador dog, you have to lift it into the boot. Fortunately, there's no load lip to lift stuff across, which is handy. And you do have a 12-volt socket there for charging things. If you need to carry longer items, you can fold down the rear seats. God, I struggle to lean in. But as you can see, they don't lie completely flat, which might make it a bit of a pain when it comes to like pushing things all the way to the front. And that brings me on to 5 annoying things about the new BMW XM. The XM is fitted with a 26 kilowatt-hour battery pack, which adds quite a bit of weight. This thing weighs in at 2.7 tons, which is about half a ton more than an X6M. BMW has decided to fit this car with a soft limiter, so it'll only rev to 4,500 RPM when you're stationary. The reversing camera is located quite low down, it's exposed, and it gets easily covered in road grime. And there's no wash function to clean it, so you have to do it with your thumb, which seems ridiculous because BMW already has a solution for this with their special badge that jizzes everywhere. Oh. One of the great things about BMW's latest M cars is the fact that even if you have the 4-wheel drive version, you can switch it into 2-wheel drive to do massive drifts. All you have to do is go into setup and then you just toggle this switch into 2-wheel drive mode. It doesn't have it. Instead, we have 4-wheel drive sound. The charge port cover is really aggressive. But that's not the only slap in the face. What's more annoying is the fact that this thing will only charge at 7 kilowatts. So it'll take 4.5 hours to charge the battery. A plug-in hybrid from Range Rover, that has DC charging at 50 kilowatts, so you can charge that much quicker. And, you know, this thing's supposed to do 180 miles per gallon. It ain't gonna, not in the real world. However, that brings me on to 5 good things about this car. You see, being a plug-in hybrid, you actually get a good tax break from it. See, if you had a BMW X6M, that will cost you about £18,000 a year in company car tax. This one, because it's a plug-in hybrid, even though it's more expensive to buy, it'll cost you £4,500 in company car tax. Saving the environment or saving yourself money? Oh, which one's more important to you? The XM is the first car from BMW's M division to feature rear wheel steering. So at high speed, the rear wheels turn in the same direction as the front wheels to aid high speed stability. Then at low speeds, they turn in the opposite direction of the front to make the car more maneuverable. So the turning circle is 12.5 meters, which is still quite a bit more than a Porsche Cayenne Turbo GT. Nah, shut up. The XM comes with performance brakes with 2 different settings. You also get adaptive dampers, a 48-volt active anti-roll bar system to stop the car from leaning in the bends, and everybody's favourite, a limited slip rear differential. When you turn the car on, you get a special start-up sound which has been composed by Hans Zimmer. Also, you get the BMW tricolour, actually that should be tricolour, flashing in the headlining. Yeah, look at this. Ooh. It's like being in a nightclub. That's enough of that. BMW gives XM buyers this lovely bag to store their hybrid charging cables in. Isn't that nice? You know what, back in the day, journalists used to get given gifts by manufacturers on launches. Gifts a bit like this. Nowadays though, we just have to steal stuff. The XM is powered by a 4.4 litre twin-turbo V8 which drives all 4 wheels via an 8-speed automatic gearbox with a torque converter. Now the gearbox actually has an electric motor mounted into it, and that electric motor can produce a maximum of 200 horsepower. The engine itself can produce a maximum of 490 horsepower. Combined when they're working together, they'll produce 653 horsepower and 800 newton meters of torque. So how quick is this thing? I think it's time to launch the XM. BMW says this thing will do 0 to 60 in 4.3 seconds, but let's find out what the reality is. Using my specialist timing gear up here, and seeing as we've got a closed road, let's also see what it'll do over the standing quarter mile. Launch time! Launch control active. Takes off pretty well. Whoa. Here we go, 0 to 60 should be coming up. 3.85, classic BMW, bloody liars. What's the quarter mile? Come on. 12.1 seconds. So there's another premium sporty SUV that is a little bit quicker. For good measure, I'm going to run it again. See what happens this time. Is it going to be quicker? No, slightly slower to 60, quarter mile. Oh, this might be a bit better. Do you know what? It's pretty much the same time, isn't it? 12.09, 12.1, there, nothing in it. Do you know what? You can actually drive this XM in electric only mode, so I've got it set up here and it'll do 50 miles. But seeing as you've got like 200 horsepower, let's see what the 0 to 60 time is like using specialist timing gear once again in electric only mode. 3, 2, 1. It's not quite so quick. 10.2 seconds, not terrible. Actually, you really can just drive it around on electric only mode, and it feels quite sprightly. Sometimes with these plug-in hybrids, they feel dead slow in electric only mode. The Range Rover Sport plug-in hybrid is an example of that. This one though, all right. And you know, it's quite good for when you're just cruising around town because it's really quite luxurious. The suspension has a firmish edge to it, so when you hit like a bump or a pothole, you get a bit of a jolt. I don't think it feels as firm though as an X5 or an X6M. I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing though. This car definitely feels more luxurious and a little bit less M-y. Visibility is good though, good view forward, big back window, huge door mirrors. Yeah, it's fairly decent in town, but that's not why you buy an M car, is it? It's also quite luxurious when you're cruising on the motorway. Despite the huge tyres, there's not that much road noise. It is well insulated. Anyway, if you need to go a bit faster and you're in electric only mode, there's like a switch in the floor, so if you absolutely floor the throttle pedal, it gives you kick down, and there we go, petrol motor kicks in, and away you go. It's really proper quick. Now, what I'm going to do is put it into hybrid mode. And one thing I've noticed about this is that when you're just like cruising along normally and you want to suddenly like go quickly and you floor it, there's a slight hesitation. So the electric motor definitely sets you off straight away, but then there's a little bit of a pause while the gearbox and the engine and the motor all work together to give you that forward acceleration. And I don't think it's quite as seamless as it might be sometimes. It's a similar problem that I've had with the Mercedes-AMG GT63 SE Performance. Now, if you want to see my full in-depth video review of that car, just click on the pop-out banner up there for the link in the description below. It's worse if you have the gearbox just in relax mode, and that's probably how you're going to drive around most of the time, just in kind of comfort and relax mode. And then when you hit the accelerator, look, I'll do it now. there really is a bit of a hesitation. Not terrible, but you notice it. As a result, it doesn't feel quite so responsive as just a normal internal combustion engine only M car. Speaking of which, what's this like when you reach some corners? Well, I'm going to go into the sportiest setting, actual manual mode for the gearbox. Here we go. Let's give it some. I mean, it's pretty good. It goes flat through the corners. The brakes are stonking. Obviously, you've got some regen effect when you're recharging the batteries as you're slowing down, but that doesn't affect how the brake pedal feels. It feels very, very natural. What I can't fault though is the fact that the pickup when you're in gear is pretty blooming good. That electric motor really just helps fill in any turbo lag, and it's just on it straight away. Let's do that again. I'm going to enjoy it. Yeah, I mean, like that. That is responsive. So it's all fine if you just want to drive in manual mode constantly. But there is no getting away from the fact that this is a heavy car, so it just doesn't feel quite so responsive or as agile as other M cars. A BMW X6 M is definitely more fun to drive and more like a proper M car. It's not quite M-y enough for me, this. It's good, it's fast, it feels like a premium car, and it feels like a top-of-the-range BMW, but it just doesn't feel quite like a flagship M. Really, I wish they'd made a supercar. So then, what's my final verdict on the new BMW XM? Should you avoid it? Should you consider it? Should you shortlist it? Or should you just go right ahead and buy it? Well, I reckon you should consider it. You see, it is very good, but it does suffer the same problem as the Mercedes AMG GT63 SE Performance, in the way that it would just be that little bit better if it wasn't a hybrid and it just had a high-performance V8 instead. Most people would be better off just with a normal X6 or X5M. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like. Let me know if you agree with my verdict in the comments below. Click on those windows there for some more videos, and on that box there to go to Car Wow to Silly Car the Easy Way. Thanks for watching.